Hey everyone, I'm Bill. I'm with Cali Moto TV. Welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the garage, and welcome back. The 2022 BMW S1000R is up on the lift for a modification I have been waiting for 5 weeks to do. Now, I'm gonna give you guys a little rant. Now, I love to give you guys my customer purchasing experiences with manufacturers because I purchase all my parts for these. These aren't given to me. I actually purchase this as a consumer like you. And I wanna pass down my experience in purchasing certain things. And if I have an issue, I want you guys to know the issue. Now, this particular tail, I was emailed back the 3rd week of July that this tail eliminator is in stock. Go purchase it now. Within a half an hour of getting the email, I purchased the rear tidy tail. About a week later, I noticed on their website that it wasn't going to be shipping until the 1st week of July. So I emailed them and said, hey, can you give me an update on my order? It says that it was in stock. Now it's saying it's next week. They said, sure enough, 1st week of July is when they're going to be shipping out. I was like, all right, so that's not in stock. But anyways, 2nd week of July, now it's talking about the mid-July is when they're going to ship. I emailed the company and said, hey, I purchased this back in June. When is it going to ship? Oh, we've been having some issues, blah, 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 back order issues, blah, blah, blah. It's not going to ship until mid-July now. Okay, so mid-July comes. Guess what? I get another email. We're moving personal issues. I don't really care. I know that people have issues, but you're a company and you sold me this product for a couple $100 weeks ago. Can I please have my product? They emailed me back and said, hey, it's going to be the end of July before these items ship. Lo and behold, the 1st of August, it finally ships out 5 weeks after I ordered this tail. So if you guys are looking at ordering this tail for a Ducati or a S1000R, I will tell you, be prepared for a wait. Now, let's talk about the install because the install looks like it's fairly easy, but I have already removed my tail and the blinker plugs are underneath these covers on the right and left side, which is really dumb. It was the S1000R. I talked about how stupid it was with BMW, but anyways, I've already changed it, but I'm gonna walk you guys through how to remove these covers, and then we're gonna get the tidy tail all installed. So let's get the chassis cam on, and let's get the old tail off. Let's get these side panels off, and show you guys how easy it is to do a tidy tail on the S1000R or RR. All right, in the FuturisMoto box, you're going to get a mounting plate, which we'll talk about here in a second, and the actual tail. The tail actually looks like it's pretty nice. It's milled up and it's got some LED tail lights and blinkers. They are integrated in this. I actually thought that they were doing a little bit different, but it's going to be basically just like your BMW, which is, I guess it's kind of nice. You're also going to get a plug and play, which is also very, very nice. Plug into the tail and your 2 blinkers and your tail light. So very nice. They offer 2 plate options. Now the 2 plate options, you can either buy one or the other, or you can actually pay, I think it's like $15 more and actually get a 2nd plate option. Now this plate option is basically the one that's gonna be like a normal plate. It's gonna be exposed. It's gonna stick out pretty far. And then they have this one, which tucks under. So this is actually going to be like under tail like this, okay, which is I think with the one we're going to use. Comes with a bunch of bolts. You're going to have your license plate bolts here, your mounting bolts, and some Loctite. Now, going over to your S1000R or RR, doesn't matter. They mount the same exact way. Now, the rear cowl is going to come off, so you're going to take either your cowl or your rear seat off. There is no need to take the seat off, but you are going to have to take these 2 panels off. Now, the reason why you're gonna have to take the panels off is BMW thought it was very, very clever to put the blinkers underneath these panels. Now, the problem that I particularly have, and the one thing that I ranted about on my S1000RR, is I actually disconnect these because I go to the track. So taking these panels off is a pain in the butt every time I've got to disconnect my tail. So what's nice about this FuturisMoto is we can just disconnect the tail lights and we don't have to worry about taking this off any longer. Now, I'm gonna walk you through how to take one side off. It's the same for both. There's a bolt underneath here and a bolt here. You can see it exposed there, which is going to release this cover, and the cover is gonna come off, and we'll show you the mounting place. Now, I opted to run the wires into the trunk, and I actually tucked them down just down below, so I have access to them. I don't have to remove these anymore, but we're gonna go ahead and remove one side for you now and show you where they mount. All right, so you have one T20 underneath. So you're gonna go ahead and just remove the one bolt here. And then up top, you're gonna see there's a clear view of one here, but there's one right here, which we'll go ahead and remove that T20 in addition. And once we've removed that, there are a couple clips. So we're gonna start on this side here, and we're gonna pull up and pull up. And you'll notice that the clips start to come off. There's a couple clips there, and presto, we've now got our cover off. Now, once the cover's off, now we can access the area in which the top cover, this top cover needs to come off because the blinkers are right under here. So you're gonna remove on both sides this top cover, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, once you get the side cover off. And then underneath here, you'll see that these blinkers are mounted. So you do have to take this top cover off in order to get these blinkers off. So a couple bolts, just remove all the bolts, pull the cover off. And like I said, I would highly recommend just running it from, it goes right in here, running it from here right into your trunk. So you always have access to them and you never have to do this again. All right, now, so we've retrieved the plugs, we've put everything back together. Now we're gonna remove the tail. Now the tail comes off with 2 bolts, actually, technically. The 2 bottom bolts underneath are what hold it, but you are gonna remove this top bolt here in addition. So we'll go ahead and we'll start and remove this top bolt here. And then underneath here, you're gonna see there's 2 more bolts. All right, and once those 2 bolts are removed, you'll see the tail actually just comes out. So you'll see that this top bolt actually doesn't hold on to anything, but you're going to reutilize that here in a second. So once the 2 bottom bolts are removed, go ahead and unplug your 3 plugs. Now your 3 plugs are removed, so go ahead and feed all 3 lines through the bottom tail. And now you're all set. So we're gonna go ahead and remove the license plate now because we're going to mount the license plate prior to mounting the tail, because you have to mount the holder to the tail before the tail gets mounted. So next step, this onto the mount. All right, so with the plate all mounted up, you're going to go ahead and slide whichever selection you did right in the little slit here. And if you flip it over, you're gonna notice that it kind of mounts right there in the middle. Now there's one screw, one little tiny black screw. You're gonna put a little bit of blue Loctite. They supply you with some, I've just got mine. And we're gonna go ahead and just get a drop in there and get this mounted right in the middle. And this is a 3 millimeter, excuse me, it is a 2.5, I think. All right, well, with that bolt nice and tight and a little bit of Loctite on there, you'll see the plate is kind of tucked under there. Now what we're gonna do is go ahead and start getting it mounted. Now, these are 3 millimeters, and there's two small bolts and 1 long bolt. The long bolt goes in the middle, and then the 2 smallers are going to go onto the bracket. So the bracket goes on here, and these are going to go through the bracket into the tail, which holds everything together. So it's going to take 2 hands. It's going to be a hard film, but what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and lay this bracket in first, tuck the tail in, and then get these 2 bolts in. Actually, you know what? I may put this bolt in first just to kind of hold it. All right, so one final step before you guys get to mounting the tail. Right here is your OBD2 plug. You're gonna have to remove the 2 screws here and here with your T20 and get this thing loose. So I've already removed the back one. You'll notice there's one in the back because this bracket is in the way. So this thing is in the way of how you're going to mount this thing, because you're going to actually utilize these holes in here for that mounting plate. All right, so your 2.5 is all nice and tight. Remember to get some Loctite on there. Now you're ready to get the tail mounted. So you'll see I've got the plate that kind of tucks under. So now what you're going to do is go ahead and grab your plug connector, and you're going to connect the plug in to the tail now, because we're going to need to feed this through, because we're ready to go ahead and start mounting into the tail. Now what you're going to do is remember they gave you some blue Loctite. You're going to blue Loctite just a little bit on the long bolt. So make sure you grab your long bolt with the washer. This is going to go into this section here. It's a 3mm, by the way. So you're going to grab all that, head over to your tail, and you're going to start by feeding the 2 cables into the tail section. So all 3 plugs come through here. And once that's in, now the tail is going to start to line up on the bottom, and you're going to grab your long bolt. Your long bolt goes right in the middle there, and go ahead and get that long bolt threaded into the tail and get that thing nice and snugged up. Don't go too far, don't strip it out, but just enough so it's snug. So now your tail is nice and secure. Now you'll notice down in the bottom, you've lined up these holes with where the bracket piece is gonna go. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab the bracket piece, put the bracket piece in with those 2 other screws there. All right, so the bracket piece, when it goes in, you'll notice there's a couple cutouts. So the F is like this. So this big cutout is over to the left, and the right's got the smaller. So you'll see that it only goes in one way. So once we get that in, we'll go ahead and start these threads. All right, so once you have those threaded, we'll go ahead and tighten them down by hand and get them nice and snug. Not too far, don't strip them. Now I noticed on the one side, this one I had a hard time getting in, like the bolt wasn't quite long enough. I only had a few turns on it, so lucky the Loctite's on there. But I had to take the washer off of this one side. I don't know if it's an S1000R thing, because this tail is specific for an RR. But I did have to lose the washer on the one side, by the way. All right, so now what we're ready to do is go ahead and grab our bracket back for our OBD2, and we're going to go ahead and slide that back in and go ahead and get the 2 bolts in to lock down the OBD2. And last but not least, the final step, getting everything plugged in. So you'll know that on there's only one way that they can be plugged in, and there is I guess we're just gonna have to figure out which one is the right and left, so we'll do trial by error. But obviously the brake light only goes in one way, so we're gonna get that in and snapped, and then go ahead and just insert one and check and see if it's correct which side is which. So we'll go ahead and turn on the ignition here, and luck of the draw, that one was correct. So we'll go ahead and plug in the other, make sure that they're nice and seated in, that all of them are all clipped. And then what we'll do is we're going to go ahead and just kind of spiral this around one more time and get it hidden. Personally, this is how I'm going to do it. If you guys want to dig back into here, that's fine, but I'm going to tuck mine all under here because I'm going to need to be able to access this stuff for my track days. All right, well, there you have it. The FuturisMoto tidy tail, very nice, very tidy. Now, again, I opted to kind of go with that slant. They do have the license plate that sticks out, so if you guys want that, that's the other selection. But very nice, very clean. Now, let's go ahead and turn the blinkers on, and we'll see these guys work. So we've got our left, and of course, if you push on the brakes, then we've got, let's see, got the one brake light still with the blinker. But I will tell you, I'm surprised that DOT approved this with BMW. This is a little bit, I think it's a little bit unsafe. Now, with the hazards on, you guys have 0 brake lights. I'm pushing on the brakes. You guys have 0 brake lights with the emergency flashers on. So I'm surprised that DOT allowed that. But again, back to the one-sided blinker and just the normal and the brake lights. So very nice, very clean. Thank you guys for sticking around for another install video on the S1000 single R. Stay tuned because it's on the lift, so I may just do the chain and sprocket, which just arrived from Drive Systems. We're gonna play around with the gearing on this thing because the gearing on this thing is the same gearing as the S1000RR, which most of them, they gear it down a little bit. So we're gonna play with a little bit of gearing on this bike, but again, stick around. The V2's got some stuff going on. We do have some stuff still going on with the Street Fighter and the XR. We've got parts here for. So thank you guys again, and make sure you guys do the normal. Hit the subscribe button, smash that like button, and then ring the bell notification. The bell notification is gonna give you future notification of future content, builds here in the garage. Stay tuned, and thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next video. Bye, guys.